Hello everyone. So how are you all? How's your study going on? My name is CHOITHANI and we are doing standard 11th statistics. So far in this channel I have completed chapter number 1, chapter number 2 and chapter number 3. You can watch all this lecture in my YouTube channel. Today we are going to start chapter number 4. Now what this chapter number 4 is? Chapter number 4 is measure of dispersion. Sir, what is the measure of dispersion? Uh, Let me tell you, in our last chapter, you can say the previous chapter, that is chapter number 3, it was about measures of central tendency. Okay, what it was about? It was about measures of central tendency. Okay. Now, what the central tendency means? Central tendency means that in the center of the data, okay, there is a data. You can say data in the beginning, data in the middle, data at the end. Now, what is in the center is known as a central tendency. Okay, I'll explain you. Suppose a student is having 100 marks test. One time he gets 70 marks, one time he gets 80 marks, and one time he gets 90 marks. Now, if I tell you to find the average, your average is 80 marks. Okay, what it means? It means that this is the mean. This is the average. Okay, median is also 80. This is central tendency. I'm teaching about you the previous chapter. I'm telling you about that. So this is central tendency. Central tendency means the middle of the data. But every time this middle portion does not satisfy our expectations. It is not like this. This is the only theory in the statistics. Many times it does not relate to the realistic, or you can say that we need some more analysis other than this central tendency. Okay. Suppose we are creating a scenario. Let us create an scenario. We are creating a scenario. You all know about something about cricket. Okay. In cricket, batsman A scored 50 runs in a match, in first match. In a second match, he scored 60 runs. And in third match, he scored 70 runs. If I tell you to find the average marks, yes, if I tell you to find the average marks, the average marks of students are 60. Okay, if I tell you to find the average marks of students are 60. Okay. In a similar manner, there is an another batsman. There is another batsman who had scored uh, 0 runs in a match, first match. In second match, he scored 60, and in third match, he scored 120. Okay, his score is something like. Now, if you will find the average for this particular batsman, now if you find the average for this particular batsman, then your average is 60. What is your average? Average is 60. By this comparison, if you see, the central tendency says that both batsmen are same. If I talk about with the previous chapter, then the central tendency will say that both batsmen are same. Both have average run 60. But can you see that both are same or not? You can see that both are not the same. Batsman A is more consistent. Okay, batsman B is he'll sometime take you to the upper level and sometimes he'll not do anything. So batsman B is like that. So the measure of dispersion will give you the analytical part about that how the data changes. Okay, see, the central tendency tells you in a very simple mean. Okay, that this way the data works. But if you want to analyze the change in the data, then you have to go for the measures of central tendency, okay, the chapter we are doing now. Measure of dispersion, you have to go to the measure of dispersion, the chapter we are doing today. Now you have some four formulas here, and you have two kind of dispersion, that is absolute measures of dispersion and relative measures of dispersion. Now, what this absolute and what this relative measure are? One is absolute measures of dispersion. Another is relative. Another is relative measures of dispersion. Okay. Now see. Now what is absolute measures and what is relative measures? See, if your answer comes in okay, let us take an example here also to understand the absolute measure and to understand the relative measure. Suppose there are two students. So, two students. So, let us take an example. Suppose two students are writing the paper, and student A got 40 marks. I am explaining you the absolute measure and relative measure. Student A got 40 marks and student B got 70 marks. Now, by reading this, is 40 marks and 70 marks. What do you think? Who is more intelligent or who got? So, what do you think? Who got more marks? A got more marks or B got more marks? By seeing this, you can say that A is having less marks and B is having more marks. But if I give you another information, extra information that A got 40 marks out of 50 and B got 70 marks out of 100. Now, what do you think? Who is more clever or more smarter or who got more marks? Now, you will say, sir, now A got more marks. Okay. Earlier, you were telling that B got more marks. Now, you will tell that A got more marks. If I want to compare this both, then I can take an help of percentage. If A got 40 out of 50, he got 80% marks. Okay. And B got 70 out of 100. So he got 70% marks. So now you can see that 80% is higher. That means A is having more marks. Okay. Now, why I have created this topic? Because I want to explain you that absolute measure is in unit. Unit means it can be marks, it can be kg, it can be centimeter, it can be rupees. Okay, it can be in any kind of unit measurement. You can understand. Okay, that is an absolute measure, and it will be having some sort of unit, you can say. And if I'll say 5, I'll not say 5, I'll say like 5 kg, or you can say 5 ton, something like that. There will be a measurement in that unit. It is known as absolute measure. And as I told you, that absolute measure cannot be compared in any situation. As I have given you example, in that situation you cannot compare 40 marks and 70 marks, because you don't know the how, you don't know from what total they got 40 and 70. So absolute measure is not relevant in every situation. Therefore we have relative measure. Now relative measure is what? It is a unit free measurement. It does not have any unit characteristic like rupees. No, that is nothing like that. See, this percentage is unit free. 80% is not in any kind of unit. It's not marks or height, weight, something like that. Okay, so that is a unit free measurement. So absolute measure, that means it should be in unit. If you are writing 5 kg, that means it is an absolute measure. Okay, it is measured in the unit. And relative measure means it is not in the any kind of units. So these are two types of measurement, that is absolute measure and relative measure. Now see. Okay, so this kind of two measure we had seen, absolute and relative. Okay. Now we have some formulas in this chapter: range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, and standard deviation. So today we are starting from the second one, that is quartile deviation. Okay. So now what quartile deviation is? In each and every formula, we are going to find two things. One is quartile deviation and one is coefficient of quartile deviation. Sir, what are those two things? Why? So let us write the topic which we have. So this quartile deviation. Now I have two things. One is quartile deviation and one is coefficient of quartile deviation. So this coefficient of quartile deviation. Okay. So one is quartile deviation, one is coefficient of quartile deviation. Now, this coefficient of quartile deviation is a relative measure, and quartile deviation is an absolute measure. Now, I'll be writing the formula for both. What are the formulas? See, now this is quite simple. Quartile deviation means Q3 minus Q1 upon. What is quartile deviation? This Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 minus Q1 upon. Now, this Q3 you have studied in chapter number 3, Q1 you have studied in chapter number 3. So if you remember both the things, then this is nothing but just merely putting the digits in this formula. Okay, if you don't remember what was Q3, what was Q1, we are doing the sums to refresh those topics. Now this is the formula for quartile deviation. What is formula for coefficient of quartile deviation? It's Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3. Okay, this was the second, that is Q3 minus Q and Q3 plus Q. This is formula for coefficient of quartile deviation. So let us start with an sum. We are doing an illustration number. A bus operator gets the following number of passengers in 10 trips on a day. Find the quartile deviation and coefficient from the following data. is 19, 25, 35, 10, 24, 8, 12, 5, 20, 30. First of all, you have to arrange this digits in an ascending order. Okay. So the digits, let me write the question first. The digits are 19, 25, 35, 10. 19, 25, 35, 10, 24, 8, 12, 5, 20, 30. Okay. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 digits, you can say. Now what I'll do, I'll arrange this particular digits in an ascending order. So very first is 5, then I got 8, then I got 10, then I got 12. After 12 I got 19, I guess. Yes. Then I got 20. After 20 I got 24, 25, 30, 35. Yes, so we have arranged this particular digits. Okay. Now, first of all, I'll find Q1 from this data given. What is Q1? Q1 is value of 1 into n plus 1 upon fourth observation. So basically Q1 is value of 1 into. Now what is n? N is 10 plus 1 observation. Yes, so value of 1 into 10 plus 1 upon fourth observation. Now, if I solve this, that is Q1 is equal to value of 1 into, it's 11 by fourth observation. It's 11 by fourth observation. Now, what is 11 by 4? It is 2.75. So I'll write Q1 is equal to value of 2.75 observation. So once I have told you that this 2.75 is not an answer at all. You can see the sentence 2.75 observation is the answer. Okay, this 2.75 is not the answer. 2.75 observation is the answer. Okay, so now Q1 is equal to value of second observation plus 0.75 into third observation minus value of second observation. So this is value of third observation. Yes, so it is like this. Q1 is equal to value of second observation plus 0.75 into value of third observation minus value of second. So Q1 is equal to, now what is value of second observation? You have to see from the series which we have arranged in ascending order. Okay, so your second observation is 8. Okay, 8 plus 0.75 into, now your value of third observation is what? It's 10. 10 minus, now your Q1 is will be 8 plus 0.75 into 2. So your Q1 will be 8 plus 1.5. So my Q1 is 9.5. Okay, you can see the Q1. This is 9.5. All the data above is in the passenger, so I'll be writing that Q1 is 9.5 passenger. I have to find quartile deviation. Don't forget. What you have to find? You have to find quartile deviation. In quartile deviation, you need Q1 and Q3. So I'll be finding Q3 also. So let us find Q3. Now your Q3 is value of 3 into n plus 1 upon 4th. Okay. So your Q3 is equal to value of 3 into 10 plus 1 upon 4th observation. So my Q3 will be value of 3 into 11 upon 4th observation. So my Q3 is equal to value of, now what is 11 upon 4 into 3? Or you can say what is 3 into 11 upon 4? So if I calculate 3 into 11 by 4 is 8. So its value of 8.25 observation. Now Q3 is value of 8th observation plus 0.25 into. Now by who will we will multiply? By what digits will multiply this 0.20? 8.25 is in which two digits? Is in between which two? 8.25 will be in between 8 and 9. Okay. So what I'll do? 8 and 9's difference I'll find. So its value of ninth observation minus value of 8th observation. So Q3 is, now what is value of 8th observation? Okay, what is value of 8th observation? You can see from above digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8th observation is 25. So it's 25 plus 0.25 into. What is ninth observation? Ninth observation is 30. 30 minus 20. Okay. So your Q3 is 25 plus 0.25 into 5. So my Q3 is 25 plus 1.25, that is 26.20. Okay. You can see the answer of Q3 26.20. And again I'll be writing in the terms of passengers. So this I have found only Q3 and Q1. Now I'll be writing the formula for quartile deviation. So quartile deviation. Now, what is quartile deviation? Quartile deviation is Q3 minus Q1 upon 2. Quartile deviation is Q3 minus Q1 upon 2. So quartile deviation is, what is Q3? It's 26.25 minus Q1 9.5 upon 2. Quartile deviation is 26.25 minus 9.5, that is 16.75.
तो भाई क्या भाई ने भाई साथ है तो भाई
So my quartile deviation will be 16.75 upon 2. 16.75 it is 8.37. In term is 8.38. This data is in the forms of passengers. So this is 8.38 passengers. Now I have to find coefficient also, yes. So what is formula for coefficient? Coefficient is Q3 minus Q1 upon 2. Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 plus Q1. Now, what is your Q3? This is 26.25 minus 9.5 upon 26.25 plus 9.5. Okay. Now, if I calculate this, 26.25 minus 9.5, I'll get 16.75. So this is 16.75 upon. Now, if I add this 26.25 plus 9.5, 35.75. So this 16.75 upon 55.75 is 0.47. 0.4. Now in this 0.47 will not write passenger because this is a relative measure. So coefficient is 0.47. So we have completed this illustration. Now we'll continue next on the next lecture.